Hello, welcome to Flower Juice. My name is John McDonald, and today we're going to do a rework of an arrangement that we made last year. Now, that was a door design featuring this raffia basket. It was just a cheap basket from one of these home stores, and we used a variety of silk arrangements in it. Now, I put that up on my door, which is under a bit of a cover, so it's underneath a balcony, so it wasn't getting hard elements, but it lasted really well. And I was just about to hang it up the other day and I thought, why are we having the same thing again? Let's just rework it. So this year I've decided that I'm not going to put this on the door. I'm going to actually use this and make a table arrangement. So we are going to reuse our silk flowers because there's nothing wrong with them. And actually, in a way, this is a really good way of making designs. If you've got some silks, but you don't have a lot of other materials, even if you've only got some fresh greenery, then you can make a design, and that's dead easy. So we've got our basket. What I want to do is I want to put a bowl in there. Now this is one of the Oasis designer bowls. I've just used a little bit of old fresh foam that had dried out. Now what I've done is I've re-soaked that. It hasn't soaked particularly well. I did use a wire just to skewer it, a very thin wire, just to allow the water to go in. But we want to reuse that. Rather than binning it, we're getting another use out of it. And I'm also going to use a little bit of artificial dry sec on top. So the dry sec is really aimed at using for silk flowers. So just to keep that secure, I'm going to use some pot tape. I must admit, I really like the wide one. You can get a thin one, but generally I just always use the wide one. It really is secure and it works a treat. So let's just pop this in. So I knew that this would fit. I had a suspicion that it was going to fit, and it does, so I was really pleased. So essentially we've got our base, we've got our dry mechanic for holding our silk flowers. We've also got a little bit of wet base there as well, so we can put in some fresh materials. So I'm not thinking that I'm going to make this and it's going to last forever. I'm literally going to make it so that we can enjoy the seasonal aspect of the materials, and then it'll just get reworked again or taken to bits. So I do have a little bit of greenery, and this is why I thought, do you know what? Initially I was just going to use the reused foam, the reused fresh foam down the base just as a bulk, but actually because we've got it, we can use it for using for fresh flowers. So straight away we've actually hidden a little bit of what was going on there, and we're starting to create a base for our flowers. Now, so putting in a little bit of greenery first, just to create a base, is the way to go. So actually with this, I'm going right through that dry foam and into the wet foam. Now, so we're going to put in all our fresh materials first, basically. Now this is a little bit of rosemary, and again, right through. I actually quite like using herbs in a design. If you've got them in the garden, then they actually really are good for cutting. They respond well to cutting, so don't be scared to use them. But you can see we're just building this up and creating a little bit of interest. Now, I don't have any particular design in mind other than it's just going to be a spring design. And I think having a few twigs in there is good as well. Now these are just ones that I had from Christmas and they've dried, but that just gives a little bit of a contrast. If you want, you can basically make an arrangement that's much more towards the flowers, or you can make it more towards the foliage. It's up to you. It's whatever your taste basically is. Just work with that. So these, I'm going to put the link for the video that we did last year in the description box. So if you want to have a little look, if you're still feeling inspired, you'd rather make a door design, then we'll link to that. And this is exactly the materials that we had in there. Apart from obviously these fresh ones. Now, these are actually just a little bit of yucca leaves. But now we can really get into our flowers. So this was our silk flowers. You can see they've still even got the dry foam powder on them. And silks really sometimes get a bad rap, but actually if you buy good silks, you really can do a lot with them. So we're just going to work our flowers into our design. So I'm going to go more grouping the actual flowers because this is a much more natural way of doing it. So rather than just dotting them all through the design, if you put 2 or 3 of one thing together, you're going to get a nice effect. Now, as you can hear, that foam that's specifically for dry flowers is really kind of scrunchy and it's nice and hard. So it is basically designed to really hold things securely. Now, as you can see, I don't actually have huge amounts of flowers. And with the silks, when I made that last design, I really didn't want to cut the stems very, very short. If you've got artificials, then you can use them in such a way that you know you'll be able to reuse them at a later date. So one of the main things about that is trying not to chop them down. So you can always bend over a stem to make that happen. Now, a little bit of greenery there. So you can see it's really kind of just building up. Even just pop that a little bit in there. I've got a couple of what are meant to be pussy willows. And they're kind of cute. And I'm going to put some stones in here as well. So this is really about combining things to make like a natural arrangement. We've got a little bit of moss as well. It's about texture and interest. And if you wanted, you could add any other decorative feature. Now, when we made our ring, we actually used ribbon as well. I'm not going to use ribbon in this because I don't think it needs it. I'd rather that we were looking into the design and just seeing the variety of materials rather than needing another decorative finish. So leaving like a little empty space like this means that we can actually look at the materials and just appreciate them. So it doesn't all have to be flower, but bringing these daffodils together gives them a stronger effect. Keeping the little lily of the valley together gives it a stronger effect. That grouping really does work. And the great thing with the artificial is you can just change the stems to suit. So we can just move that one round a little bit. So there we go. essentially a nice spring arrangement just to bring a bit of colour into your house. We've used stuff that we already had. We've not had to go out and buy any amount of stuff. Greenery just came from the garden, and we're really just kind of bits that were left over from another design that I was doing. So we've got a nice mix of fresh and artificial, and it works. There's no reason why you can't combine the two to make an arrangement and get a nice effect. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I hope you're feeling inspired. If you want to get a little bit more inspiration and you are thinking about a door design, then have a look, as I say, in our description box for the link for the previous video. I think you'll find it quite interesting seeing the contrast and how the materials can be used. We've got a new video every week. We'd love you to join us for our future designs. If you've not already subscribed, then click to subscribe. If you can click the like button as well, it really helps our channel. But until next time, take care and we'll see you soon.